Hi everyone, thanks for joining the Con Squad Q space. Today we're going to be talking about pretty much a comeback preparation, voting apps, streaming apps, and whatnot. So for Con Squad, we are in charge of everything regarding voting, and also we handle streaming teams for Korean music platforms. So if we start off with the voting apps, we want to make sure everyone knows what needs to be done on the voting apps to be well prepared for the comeback. So we have all the tutorials are out on our page on the pinned tweet. If you look, there's a link for all the tutorials. Those are all up to date. We also have a Linktree link in our bio, which always links anything that may be ongoing and all the tutorials. So anytime you're looking for anything, you just come on our page, look on the Linktree or look on our pinned tweet, and you'll find everything you need to know. Specifically for the comeback, we have a few apps we absolutely need to be collecting on. So those apps are MooBeat, IDleChamp, FreeVote, and then recently M-Wave and Who's Fan has been replaced by the Mnet World, which is for M Countdown. So you really need 3 apps, and there's one website that's new. If we start with the most recent edition, which is the Mnet World. So for M Countdown, if you ever used M-Wave before to vote, so M Countdown is pretty much the same. It's just a website. It's not an app for the moment, only a web-based. And you have to re-register your account. So everything re-registered for Kingdom and everything re-registered later on for Mama, you need to register again. It's not based on any type of social media account like before. It's strictly based on emails, which it will send you a confirmation code and that will complete the registration. So the earlier you start, the better, especially if you have a lot of accounts. Register your accounts again on Mnet World. We published the tutorial for that earlier this morning, so check that out. And please keep registering your accounts for that because that vote is only 1 per day. Next app is MooBeat. So for MooBeat, the reason why we really need to be collecting on that and early on is because the voting on MooBeat is unlimited. So there's no limit in terms of how many votes you can place. Every vote you place will take up 3 of your beats, but you need to have as much as possible to vote week after week. And right now I can tell you, if you look, the current winners have been getting like millions of votes. So in order to be able to really place high or win the vote, we really need a lot of beats. So this is not something you could start, once the comeback is announced. And we know YG likes to give us like all of 2 weeks notice. You can't wait for 2 weeks beforehand to start collecting on MooBeat. You have to do it as early as possible. Of course, if you have the time, because you are limited by how many ads you can watch. So it will take some time to accumulate it by watching ads. There's other ways you can collect on MooBeat, which includes completing missions. I know completing missions involves installing apps. If you have the full memory, that's great. So there's some offers that you simply have to download and install. The offers do vary by country, so you may not see the same offer as a friend of yours if they're somewhere else. So for example, myself, I had a simple offer to download and install a shopping app for a popular store here, and that gave me 500 beats. So sometimes you'll see very simple ones like that, download and install. There's other ones where you have to complete specific action or reach a certain level in a game. Some things are subscription based. Some also involve purchases. If ever you see if ever you have the means to buy your beats instead, that's a possibility. If you want to go through the missions and complete a purchase to get the beats, that's also an option. Sometimes the game missions that offer beats for a certain purchase after can come out giving you more beats than if you just buy the beat straight from a beat. So watch the offers carefully, see what you can do, if there's any that you can do. And that's one way to get a large sum of beats quickly. On MooBeat, there's also now a live vote. And a live vote, for the live vote, you're capped at 5 live vote tickets, which would mean 150 beats. So if you need to gauge how much beats you need, well, just because the pre-vote is unlimited, get as many as you can. Otherwise, for a live vote, you need at least 150 beats per week to be able to vote on the live vote. One thing about the MooBeat, though, is that the beats do expire after 90 days. So if you've been continuously collecting, of course, there's going to be cycles where you have beats expiring. We have opened ad campaigns, for the homepage before, just to use up some beats. We can't always do that because they have specific themes for the homepage, which is usually a comeback, an anniversary, a birthday, or something congratulatory. So if it doesn't really fall within that, we can't necessarily open up a homepage ad. And also, depending on some weeks are already filled up, so we'd have to go to the next available time frame and also collect enough to win the slot within that time frame. So it doesn't always fall within a period where we have something to promote. So there's just that to keep in mind. I'm just going to check to see if there's any questions. One moment here. Okay, and that's it for MooBeat. The next one is iDleChamp. Oh, there's someone that requested to speak. 1 second here. Requested. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. So for iDleChamp, iDleChamp is kind of similar to MooBeat in that we at ConSquad think we should be trying and aiming for as many champ sims as possible. If we're looking to collect just for the purpose of voting for the music shows, you would need 1,200 champ sims to vote every week, so times 4. So that's strictly if you just want to vote for the music show weekly. So that's 1,200 champ sims. It could be blue and red together. So that's, luckily we could use both, but we need 1,200 just for the music shows per week. Now, blue champ sims expire every month, while the red ones don't expire at all. So for the blue ones, until they come back, you can collect them and use them on the main chart. And then once, if we're in the month where they're coming back, then you could keep them to be able to use them to vote for them for music shows. Now, going above the 1,200 every week that we need for the music shows. What's good about Idle Champ is if we collect more, we can vote for other things to get ads for iKON for their comeback specifically. So this is for promotions. Idle Champ regularly offers comeback promotions or ads for only those who are coming back, and they range from physical large subway ads. They offer also a campaign all the time for video MV ads. So they would display the music video in 1,600 computer cafes across Seoul. So that's a really good deal if you think about it, having almost 120,000 streams just of the MV from that promo. They also offer ads if we rank high on the monthly chart they have on their main chart. So Idle Champ offers a lot of comeback promo options for us. So if we can collect above and beyond just what's needed for the music shows, we can vote on these and win some additional ads for iKON. See here, I think there was a question about Idle Champ I saw. Let me go see. Okay, so question was, do we have groups that like all posted iKON community Idle Champ? So no, we don't have any active group that purposefully goes in and does that. So for those who don't know, like liking a post up to 30 likes gives the post, the OP, 30 blue champions. So that's something that can be done. We haven't made any specific group to do that, but that is something that can be done. Let me see if there's any other Idle Champ questions. No, so no other Idle Champ questions. Is there any questions from anyone listening in on the space right now so far? Okay, it doesn't seem so for the moment. All right. Next app is FreeVote. So FreeVote is the latest app that has replaced Star Planet. So this one is used for Inkigayo. This is this came out maybe a few weeks ago. For that one, we need 30 hearts for one vote. And therefore, we have a max of 5 votes allowed. So that means we would need 150 hearts every week. And this is specifically a live vote. So there's no pre-vote for Inkigayo that we have access to. It's only available to Korean accounts to vote. So this is specifically just for the live vote. Something new that they have is called the Hot Stage Award. So they have a vote for that too. And for the Hot Stage Award, we are allowed to do 5 votes a day. What is the Hot Stage Award? So pretty much they just put all the stages that performed on Inkigayo for that show, and you just vote for the best stage. What does iKON get out of it? They have a nice little trophy to make for it, and they also give them flowers, which is nice. It's kind of nice. So that's another thing that we can collect on FreeVote for. So I know FreeVote, it's been giving some people problems with collecting and whatnot. Free Vote, they've tweeted that they're working on it and getting more offers for international users. So in the meantime, do what you can with the offers they have there. We tweeted the other day about Pin Crux if you have access to that in your country. Once again, they offer a lot of social media offers. So like subscribe to this YouTube channel or follow this account on Instagram, and you have to screenshot the proof and they would give you the hearts for it. So if you have access to that and you could do it, that's one way to collect hearts. Otherwise, we'll keep an eye on their Twitter account, and they might have single day events like what we tweeted the other day, where there was these stages from the previous week's shows that you could watch. After a minute, it would pay out hearts for you, and they capped you at 80 hearts. So that was another easy way to get 80 hearts. So we'll just have to keep monitoring it that way to be able to get what we need to do the live vote for Free Vote or the hot stage vote. We have time on our side for that. So we have time to, as slowly as we can, considering the offers on that app, get enough hearts to be able to vote for iKON when they do come back. For that app, the hearts expire after 50 days. So we're in a good position, hoping that iKON comes back somewhere in the next 50 days. And we'd have enough to vote for them. One thing I do want to mention is that when we tweet any of these offers or daily tasks for these apps, we don't get much retweets. And then we often see users are wondering, where do I find this tutorial? What do I do on this app? Is there something going on for this? The way to share information, this is the platform, this is Twitter, this is how it works. You need to retweet it. Otherwise, it's not going to pass on anyone's timeline. Once time passes by, it's gone, right? They won't see it unless users retweet the tweets. I often, I sleep, I wake up, things happen because I'm on the opposite side of the world. I have to scroll back and look and find things and see things, But, if in the daytime your timeline moves fast or you're out, you're going to miss information from our account, even if you follow us, unless people constantly retweet our tweets, unless you have maybe you set up a list with our account that you can consult, or you can join our community that we created for voting, just to always know where to find your information. But you need to share the information, and it's with retweets that everyone is going to get informed more quickly if everyone gets into the habit of making sure they retweet the information that passes on the timeline. All right, let me see some questions that we had here on the timeline. Can we translate in our language your tutorials? Of course, there's no problem. And if you just let me know that you've translated it, I can retweet it for anyone that speaks other languages. I think I've done that for the iKONIC 101. There was a few other languages it was translated into, I believe, Spanish and I believe Portuguese and French. Just let us know and we can retweet it. No problem. Just translate it. We want to make sure the information is accessible to as many people as possible. Let's see what else. Let's see. Please do something about brand reputation. Comeback is near. We need to fix it. Okay, so brand reputation, guys. We tried. We all emailed the Korean accounts that were created recently. The fan bases, I should say. They emailed this account, that whole brand ranking thing. They don't respond to emails. and I know you're going to say, well, this other group did it and they got on. They sent an email, they didn't get a response, and they were just eventually on by some stroke of luck or magic. I don't know which one. So as much as we keep trying, without a response, there's not much we can do about that. There is something a bit, I would say, sketchy about it too. Even back when iKON was appearing on the brand ranking, for the individual ranking, for example, we had members that never ever appeared on that, which doesn't make sense, which we know doesn't make sense. So there's something kind of strange about however their research method or counting method is done, and however it is, and the only method to communicate with them is this one lone email that they don't respond to. I don't know if there's anything else we can try at this point. There's nothing else. There's no other way to communicate with them. They come out with this thing, everybody tweets about it for when it comes out, and then nobody talks about it. So for now, it's a nice to know, but at the same time, like we saw during Kingdom, there's other things that monitor, how much iKON is being spoken about or looked up and things like that. So at some point, I think we just have to kind of forget the idea of this whole brand ranking that specific one, and just keep doing what we do, which is, we always mention the account, retweet the tweets that YG Iconic tweets out, tweeting about iKON, reacting on articles, sharing the articles, sharing the blogs and stuff like that. That's our part that we can do about it. Everything else will come naturally, in terms of, they release music, people search them up, people watch their MV, they create their videos on YouTube, they create their videos on TikTok. These things will happen naturally, but without regard to anyone saying, hey, iKON is ranked number 2 or number 1 on a brand ranking from a research company that no one really knows about. Let's just do our own due diligence and make sure that we keep using these methods, and that when iKON comes back and we have hashtags and things like that, events for them, that we go all out and just make sure people know iKON is coming. Let's see what else. Do we have fan bases for each voting apps and each music platforms that are working together, or do you handle it all? So I handle it all. So we do the voting apps all here. The music platforms. For the streaming platforms, we handled Melon and Genie specifically. Why? So, of course, we monitor all the charts, but for streaming and streaming parties and streaming assistants and stream teams, we do Melon and Genie specifically because of costs. They are the most cost-effective to rent accounts, to get passes for, and to stream on. Flow is honestly more expensive, so it eat up a lot of the digital funds that we collect. And Bugs is a download first type of app, so it's an app where 80% of the charting position is based on the downloads. So that's why you see new releases chart high on Bugs. So for that, usually like what we did last year and years before is you create Bugs account and you give them to the Korean team, because for them, the downloads cost about roughly what works out with the currency exchange to 70 cents a download. So they could stretch out the cost a lot more than we would trying to do a download on Bugs, for example. So we have everything here, the tutorials for Melon and Genie. They're also, again, in our pinned tweet. You have the tutorials there. We do make stream teams based on the fund drive that we have Us and contacts take care of the Melon and Genie teams. So once we know when the comeback date is, that's when we open up volunteering, just so everyone knows their schedule. It's harder to make teams if people have to drop out because of different responsibilities, or they have work, or they have school at that time, or it's exam session and things like that. So we wait until we know the actual comeback date before we put out forms for stream teams. It's easier to handle that way. Perfect. So just to continue on streaming teams while we're on that topic. So as I mentioned, we have a fundraiser with, I shouldn't say fundraiser, but we have the fund drive that we handle for all of iKONICS for the digital streaming. We handle this with contacts and sorry. So we handle that with contacts, and this is for our fan base and also any other fan base that has stream teams. We're just pooling it in one fund so that you all know, okay, this is the fund for digital streaming. Just as, for example, iKON Global handles the album fund. We have Convergence that handles the YouTube fund. We want to make sure we are pooling all our money into one resource and not multiple drives in multiple places. All the fund drives have country reps. So we're all just keeping track of how much money we're all pooling together in a more centralized way. So if ever, for example, you don't have the time to stream, but you have the funds, you can donate. You can donate to the donation drive for the digital streaming. If you look at the other accounts, you see the donation drives for the YouTube ads and for the albums as well. So once again, this helps with funding stream teams for people who may not have the means to be able to stream, but have the time to stream. We take the fund, we buy the passes, and we make teams to stream. Do you need experience to stream? No, it's playing music. You don't have to, it's nothing more complicated than you're playing music on an app, just like you would, go on your Spotify or go on your Apple Music and you'd play music. It's the same principle. It's just that here we're just making teams to split up the accounts and the time so you don't have to be on it all day long. It's nothing like that. We usually just split it up in like 4-hour periods where you'd be streaming for that period. So don't be afraid to join us when we open up the recruitment for that. It's really simple. It's really simple to do. All right. Excuse me. Let's see what other questions. How can we enter a streaming team? Is there any specific requirement to be in one? So no, I mean, as long as you have the time, and your time isn't like crazy. So I'll give you an example. We've had streamers apply and they would have like not available Monday, not available Tuesday. I'm available at 9 to 12 Wednesday. I'm available 5 to 10 Thursday. I'm available 1 to 5 Friday. Like something like that is going to be a bit hard to place you into a team versus if you know you have, okay, I'm always available 5 to 10 Monday to Thursday. Well, then that's easy to put you into a team, for example. So as long as your availability is like pretty constant, then we can place you in a team easily. Other than that, there's no requirement. We'll give you the links and to know how to download the app if you don't have them already. And all the tutorials are there. And you're there with like 3-4 other people in a team. So, you're there, you can help each other out. We usually manage the stream teams on our private accounts. We have private accounts for Melon and for Genie, just so it's just a more centralized information rather than on our main timeline, just because the main timeline will be filled with not just streaming info, but like, chart position, YouTube, streaming, voting. So there might be some information that might get lost in the timeline. So we usually handle those just separately, and also for our DMs, because we be handling the voting. Also, our DMs can get very, very overloaded at comeback time. So we handle everything for streaming on private accounts, just so that we can speak with you all quicker and easier. Let's see, other questions. Let's see here. Beside fans, iKON have a lot of casual listeners. One of the ways we can increase the number of albums pre-order is to share links constantly to various social media, especially share outside of our fandom circle to encourage casual listeners for buying their album too. Okay. So yes, of course, definitely highly suggested anytime, we come back, not just, the links to order that album, but also constantly sharing the teasers. Like when there's video teasers, that's the best way to gain attention. Just to give you an example, back when it was Love Scenario era and the concept, I think it was the concept teaser that had nothing to do with the song whatsoever in the end. But just that alone garnered so much interest, because it was like, oh, what's this? It's nice. It sounds good. It looks pretty. So everything that comes out for the new album, the new song, make sure you share it everywhere. Again, just like the tweets, sharing is what gets the information out there. And if you keep it here, it's not going to go anywhere. So you have to share the information. Let's see here. I was in Con Squad voting team for Kingdom, and now we have a lot of KCOW accounts. For making a Melon account, don't need to have Korean number, just need a KCOW account. Can you consider making a group from making Melon account with our KCOW account and follow iKON New Song account? Thanks. Okay. That is a possibility. Although for the accounts made without verification, so the ones without the phone numbers assigned, so like this type of account that you're speaking of, I don't remember off the top of my head right now. I have to look. But I know there's certain things we can't do with the free account, just to avoid, I guess, skewing the numbers in Melon like that. I'd have to double check and let you know. So I'll post back about this once I collect back the information, because I always get confused. I don't know if it's the liking or the follow or the ranking. It's one of the two that we can't do with these basic accounts that we make without them being verified. So I'll check that and get back to you on that. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any questions on the hashtag. Are there any questions for any listeners here? You can request to speak if you have a question. Don't see anything else. Any questions here? I don't see any questions in the room. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. I think that was mainly it. So Really, truly, just to summarize again, if you're looking for any tutorial, we have Linktree link in our profile, our bio profile, and we have the pinned tweet on our account as well. So the posters, those are not up to date, but the links and the information contained in the links, everything there are up to date. So the pinned tweet will change once we just finish finalizing the poster to go with the links, but the links themselves, they are linked to moments. Those moments are completely up to date, so you can keep those and use those if ever you need to know how to use any app whatsoever. Other than that, just look at our timeline for anything that you need to know. Oh, there's a request to speak. And retweet. That's the only way to share the information, whether that be any new voting that comes up, any new methods that come up, the daily tasks you have to do in the apps, or any information regarding comeback once comeback is announced. Retweets are your best friend. That's the way we're going to be able to share information. I know there was a few mentions and questions about, can you make a team for this? Can you make a team for that? So, there's a lot of teams I'd like to make, but we don't have the manpower. We did open up admin recruitment, like team leaders, app leaders. When was it? Back in January, early February. And we didn't get that many applications. I'd even say we got less than 10 for those who wanted to apply as app leaders. And within those 10, there was a few that had locked accounts. I can't do anything with a locked account. I can't verify who you are with a locked account. There was locked accounts with DM closed. There was accounts with DM closed completely. I can't contact you if your DMs are closed. So just when you apply, when any of the fan bases open up recruitment, please make sure, first of all, your account isn't locked, but also please at least have your DMs open. There's no other way for us to communicate with you if your DMs aren't open. So please remember, if you apply, to have an unlocked account and your DMs open. But yeah, to be able to run these extra teams per app and things like that, we need the manpower, and we don't have it. We didn't get it with the applications to be able to do more, but we'd love to do more. Let me check to see if there's any new questions. No, I don't see anything else. So for YouTube, for example, so we did handle YouTube with Stream Team and mass streaming times for the previous comebacks, the last 2 comebacks plus Kingdom time. But now there's iKON Universe that's going to be handling YouTube and such. So until then, like when they're fully active, if there's any streaming parties and such like that, we can handle it. But for the comeback, they'll be the ones handling YouTube teams. So those who had previously joined ours, just keep an eye out for that from that fan base as we refocus just on voting and the Korean stream platforms. All right, so again, to recap, what do you need? You need the MooBeat app, as many beats as possible. You need Idle Champ, as many champs as possible. Free vote, do what you can on the app. We know it's kind of buggy at times. They don't have that many offers. But so do what you can. We have time on our side for that one to collect enough to vote. And then M Countdown, the Mnet world, please, please, please start registering your accounts from now. That's all we have to do for that one. There's nothing to collect. It's literally you log in, you vote, you log out. So please, with all your accounts that you've had, email-based accounts that you've had, register your accounts. Start registering your accounts from now. Again, if we get things done early on, it's less work for us when the comeback is happening and more time for us to enjoy it versus having to be in these apps collecting. So start early makes more time for us to enjoy everything later. And panicking later as well. It's less stressful that way. So start from early, start from now. We may look to open up some registrations for help to register our own accounts because we have a lot of accounts for our M Countdown. So we may open up registration for help to help us register our accounts. So keep an eye out for that. And again, we have a voting community. If you check on our page under communities, we have a voting iKONICS communities where you could, speak and communicate with other iKONICS that are focusing on voting. So join that if you can. Let me see here. Conic Avenue, you would like to say something or you have a question? No? Okay, that's not. Let's see. A moment here. Oh, yeah. Conic Avenue, you have to request again. I don't know. I keep seeing you as a speaker, but then you disappear. So if you'd like to speak, please request it again. Okay, go ahead. Oh, no, you're a listener again. I don't know what happened. I approved you. One second here. Let me add you manually. Let me see. Conic. Try it that way, Conic Avenue. I've invited you as a speaker. No? Okay, so while we try to figure things out with Conic Avenue, there's also, so again, let's do things smart and not like have to spend too much time in the apps when we don't absolutely have to. So there is Stan World that is ongoing. It's an in-app event this time around. There's not a Twitter component. So if you can join Stan World, download the app, go in the app. Every check-in is 500 points for iKON, and they allow you to check in every 30 minutes. So if we get a lot of people to check in, even if you can't join the stream parties or the chat parties, at least come in multiple times a day, check in. That gives 500 points to iKON. And if you've been looking at iKON Global account, you've seen that over the past few weeks or months, we've been winning week-long YouTube ads, There was a giant canvas ad also that was one for iKON. So this is just another way to get these ads for iKON. And if this lines up with the comeback, this is perfect timing to get some basically free ads for iKON. So please join the Stanroll app. Do your check-ins. If you can't spend too much time in the app, at least come in throughout the day and do the check-in to contribute 500 points every time. So this is ongoing until, I believe, the 26th of April. So please join if you can. Conic Avenue, I see you.
Yes, finally, thank you. Finally, I've tried like leaving and then rejoining the space, so I can request again. So yeah, by the way, guys, good evening or good morning to everyone who's in the space. For Conic Av, we're just going to like raise or share that for voting apps, we allotted some budget. Like for now, as of the moment, for every voting app, we're going to purchase around $100 each voting app, but the budget could go higher but not lower. And also that we know some sellers, it's legit by the way. We're going to purchase outside the app, just like when we have TTA voting, we are purchasing outside the voting app itself because it's much cheaper. So just in case, for example, you really can't watch ads because you have work or you have school, but you have the money and you are like thinking of purchasing beets or jellies inside the app, we suggest you could DM us so we can suggest you or refer you to the seller. So it's much cheaper and then we could purchase more than we could buy on the app itself.
Thank you. So for anyone who wants to make a monetary contribution for that, you can DM Iconic Avenue.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ConSquad.
You're welcome. Any other questions? There's nothing on the timeline. Any questions or comments from anyone in the room right now? You can request to be a speaker if you'd like to say something. Nothing. All right, so we'll look to wrap this up. We didn't want it to be too long either. So again, guys, for anyone that might have missed this, oh, someone requested. There you go, Gia. You can speak.
I just want to say to all of you that's hearing right now that on this Saturday, the next one, next week, me and some friends are going to do a Twitter space so we can share our ideas and projects for iKON Comeback. So I inviting you, all of you, to be in our space or to tweet me, DM me your ideas so we can share them in space and to spread about all this info to a lot of Spanish iconics and Latin Americans. So yeah, I just want to talk that. And also thank you, ConSquad, because I didn't know about all these things. So yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you, Gia. So any Spanish-speaking conics can DM them with any ideas. You guys can join their space that they're gonna have for comeback preparations. So, like I was saying again, if anyone missed this, anyone that might have missed this, we did record the space, so we'll be putting it up. We'll also type up a little transcript for those who prefer to read about it. So let's just make sure we help each other out, that we share the right info. This is something important. We've noticed sometimes that we put out certain information about maybe a certain policy or criteria or method or things like that, and then there's others on the timeline that go and contradict what we say, and get many, once again, likes and retweets. So it's just that you have to understand, this is what we're here for. If we put something out, it's because we've researched it. We've taken the time, we've looked it up, we've tested things out, and we tweet it out. So it would really be good if you guys spread the information that come from your fan bases, because, well, in our case, this is what we were created for. This is what we've been doing for years. So we like the proper information to go out so that everyone has the same information and is following the right information. So once again, part of that is retweeting the tweets from our accounts. Okay. I can't stress that enough. I think I've said it maybe 10 times already in this space, but this is the only way that information is going to be shared and people are going to be aware. Because I'm sure you've seen it yourself. People are like, I don't know where to find this. I don't know what to do with this. I never saw this. If you go on the fan base accounts, you're going to find the information. But you need to retweet it also when you find it so that other people can see it and be aware and also follow and retweet. That's really all I had to say for today, guys. Thank you for joining the space. Again, Stanworld is, there's an event open already until the 26th. Join if you can in the streaming room. If you don't know what that is, the streaming room, literally, they play videos, they play concerts, summertime DVDs. It's just pretty much videos constantly on 24/7. It's open 24/7. While you're in the room, there's 5 points per person that gets given to iKON. And otherwise, if you don't have the time to spend in the app, which totally understand, you can open the app every now and then throughout the day, and every time you check in, which is clicking the calendar icon, that will give iKON 500 points. If you are new to that app, make sure when you join, you set iKON as your event star. So not just ultimate star, but you have to set them as your event star. That will make sure the 500 points for every time you check in goes to iKON's total points. And these points, we'll be able to get ads, whether it be physical ads or YouTube ads for iKON. The last few times have been a whole week long at $100 a day of ads for iKON. So let's make sure we can do that for iKON, get as much as we can. That will help us with comeback promos. And on that note, I'll just say thank you for joining our space. If you have any other questions that you think of later on, our DMs are always open, guys. You could DM us anytime with your questions, and we'll do the best to answer them if we have the answer. If not, we'll find the answer for you. Have a good day or good night, everyone.